Because of course they did. Because of course they did. You guys have rendered the term anti-Semitism meaningless. You literally say everything you don't like is anti-Semitism. Also, why are you weighing in? Are you in New York? Well, I know that most of the settlers living there are actually, in fact, New Yorkers, so. But the state weighing in like this, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck what you think. And I know you guys are used to dog walking and owning our president and our politicians, but you don't own New York City. So I don't give a fuck if you're crying about Zohran Mamdani's first day in office. And by the way, what they're whining about and claiming is anti-Semitism, let me show you. What Mamdani revoked were outrageous executive orders that were banning BDS and adopting the very unconstitutional definition of anti-Semitism from the IHRA, which is criticism of Israel. That's what the IHRA definition is. He rightly revoked those because they were an outrageous violation of our First Amendment rights, okay? You can't ban BDS. As Americans, we have a right to boycott. And not only is the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism absurd because they made it so that it includes any criticism of Israel, but actually, because we have a First Amendment, being hateful is protected speech also. You shouldn't be hateful, but it is protected speech. At least right now. If they were to have it their way, they would take away our First Amendment. Because here was a Zionist billionaire, Shlomo Kramer, talking to CNBC about how they want to roll back the First Amendment. They want to take away our First Amendment rights. I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. There are so many outrageous things about this, but let's start with the fact that he's not fucking American. It's an Israeli billionaire. I'm sorry, why are you talking? The entitlement is legendary. Who the fuck do you think you are as a foreigner coming and telling Americans that our First Amendment rights should be taken away? You don't even go here. This is the problem with allowing Israel's influence on our politics and our country. Putting aside how outrageous in general it is to allow a foreign country to meddle in our politics like this, it is dangerous because it leads to shit like this. And we understand this when it comes to every other country. Where's Rachel Maddow? Remember when her and everybody else in Democratic politics and in the media were obsessed with Russian meddling in American politics? Where you guys be? This is one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard. Like, I need everybody to wake the fuck up. They're trying to take away your First Amendment rights. If you don't have a First Amendment, you don't have anything. And don't think that they can and won't try to do it because they're already doing it on a smaller scale now and have been for the last couple of years. They've just been doing it more at the local level and through private companies. But make no mistake, they're coming for the First Amendment. I also like all the Zionist propaganda rags pretending like there's some actual like backlash when all of us support what he's doing, okay? They're like, Mamdani blasted for revoking the blasted by who? Like Zionist propaganda rags like the New York Post and billionaires like Bill Ackman? Like who? Eric Adams, who was literally paid to go on a propaganda trip to the Israeli regime and say that he was the mayor for them? You mean like that? And if you're on the right-wing side of social media, this line from his speech is what they are most upset about. Every single right-winger, of course, like clockwork, is melting down and crying about this line. And you know, the real reason why they're crying about it and why they're so upset about it is because the way that they control the population is through bifurcating it, is through keeping people divided, lonely, and fighting each other. So the idea of people actually working together to fight for their own interests is something that threatens the ruling class and the corporations. Because make no mistake, they don't give a fuck about individualism. They worked collectively, the corporations and the ruling class, to oppress the American people. They always work together for their class interests. So it's not about them not believing in collectivism. They just don't want the American people fighting back in the class war that they've been engaging in for decades.